Most people think investing is hard because the stock market is unpredictable, but this book makes a very different argument. In the Little Book of Common Sense Investing, John Bogle says the market actually works just fine. The real problem is that investors get in their own way. In this video, I'll walk you through 7 lessons from the book that completely change how you think about investing. Not by teaching you how to beat the market, but by showing you why most people never needed to try in the first place. Let's get into it. Lesson 1. Investing is a winner's game, until investors touch it. Here's the paradox. Businesses create wealth. The stock market grows over time. Companies earn profits, pay dividends, and expand. That's a winner's game. But then investors show up. We trade, we chase performance, we pay fees, we panic sell, we try to time the market, and suddenly a game designed to make us money becomes a game where most of us lose. Bogle calls this the difference between the market's return and the investor's return. In a 25-year period that Bogle studied, the market returned about 9% annually. The average mutual fund earned around 8%. But the average investor, they earned barely 6%, nearly a third of potential returns, just gone. The gap isn't because markets failed, it's because we interfered. The lesson? The market works. Our behavior doesn't. And that's the foundation for everything else we're about to cover. Lesson 2. You can't beat the market because you are the market. This one hits hard. Before costs, all investors collectively earn the market return. Not some of us, all of us. Because we are the market. If you buy a stock and it goes up 20%, someone sold you that stock and missed out on that 20%. Your win is their loss. It's a zero-sum game. For every outperformer, there's an underperformer. But here's where it gets worse. After costs, fees, taxes, and trading expenses, it becomes a negative-sum game. Now, the average investor doesn't just match the market. They fall behind, way behind. Bogle's math is brutal. The market returns 100% of what it returns. But after we take out mutual fund fees, advisor fees, trading costs, and taxes, the average investor is left with maybe 60 to 70% of that return over a lifetime. You're not competing against the market. You're competing against other investors while everyone pays a toll, and the house always wins. Once you accept that investors, as a group, are the market, the question stops being, how do I beat it? And becomes something much simpler. How do I own it as efficiently as possible? That question is what the rest of this book is really about. Lesson 3. Costs are silent, relentless, and compounding against you. Let's talk numbers. Say you invest $10,000 for 50 years, and the market returns 7% annually. At the end, you have about $294,000. Not bad. But if your mutual fund charges just 2% in fees, you're only earning 5% net. After 50 years, you end up with about $114,000. You just lost $180,000 to costs. That's 60% of your potential wealth, gone. Not to bad investments, but to fees. Bogle calls this the tyranny of compounding costs. While your returns are compounding for you, costs are compounding against you, and time makes it worse, not better. A 1% fee sounds harmless, but over decades, it's not 1%. It's 20, 30, even 40% of your total returns. And most investors don't even know they're paying it. The lesson? Every percent matters. Costs aren't just a minor detail. They're the silent killer of wealth. Lesson 4. Time in the market beats intelligence in the market. Here's what Bogle discovered. Trying to be smart is harder than being patient. Most investors think the game is about picking the right stocks, timing the market, or finding the next big thing. But the data tells a different story. Over short periods, anything can happen. Luck dominates. But over decades, time smooths out the noise. Bogle showed that in any one-year period, stocks beat bonds about 65% of the time. But over 25 years, stocks have almost always outperformed bonds. The longer you stay invested, the more predictable your success becomes. Market timing doesn't work because nobody can consistently predict the future. But time in the market, that works every single time. You don't need to outsmart anyone. You just need to outlast the noise. The message is clear. Stop trying to be clever. Start trying to be patient. Once you stop trying to outsmart the market, the next question becomes, what actually drives returns? Lesson 5. Dividends and earnings drive returns, not headlines. Bogle separates stock returns into two parts: investment returns and speculative returns. Investment returns come from business fundamentals, dividends, earnings growth, and real profits from real companies. This is what you can count on over the long term. Speculative returns come from valuation changes. What people are willing to pay for a stock today versus tomorrow. This is driven by emotion, hype, and headlines. And it's completely unpredictable. Over a century of data, Bogle found that investment returns, the dividends and earnings, accounted for nearly all of the stock market's growth. Meanwhile, speculative returns fluctuate wildly and mean revert to zero over time. In other words, the headlines don't matter. The daily price swings don't matter. What matters is whether the businesses you own are profitable and growing. Everything else is noise. Focus on what companies earn, not what other investors are willing to pay. That's the only thing you can rely on. Lesson 6. Simplicity isn't lazy, it's mathematically superior. Here's the irony. The investment industry profits from complexity. The more products, strategies, and jargon they throw at you, the more you feel like you need their help, and the more you pay. But Bogle proved the opposite. Simplicity wins, not because it's easier, although it is, but because it minimizes costs, mistakes, and taxes. When you put all of this together, Bogle argued that the most logical outcome isn't clever stock picking or complex strategies. It's simply owning the entire market at the lowest possible cost. That's exactly what index funds were designed to do. Not to beat the market, but to capture it efficiently, with fewer fees, fewer mistakes, and far less emotional interference. Complex strategies sound sophisticated, but they come with higher fees, more trading, more taxes, and more opportunities to get it wrong. Simplicity removes all of that. Bogle's advice? Don't look for the needle in the haystack. Just buy the whole haystack. Own the entire market. Keep costs near zero. And let compounding do the work. Simplicity isn't settling, it's strategy. Lesson 7. Most investors fail not because of markets, but behavior. This is the hardest truth in the book. The biggest enemy of the investor is the investor. Markets go up and down. That's normal. But when markets drop, we panic and sell. When markets soar, we chase performance and buy high. We let fear and greed override logic. Warren Buffett, who Bogle quoted often, said it best. The greatest enemies of the equity investor are expenses and emotions. We've covered expenses. Now let's talk about emotions. Bogle showed that even great strategies fail if behavior fails. You can have the perfect portfolio, but if you sell during a crash or abandon your plan, you lose. Discipline beats brilliance every single time. The solution isn't just picking the right investments. It's staying the course. It's doing less, not more. It's ignoring the noise and sticking to the plan. Because in the end, markets reward those who show up, stay invested, and refuse to interfere. So those are the 7 lessons from the Little Book of Common Sense Investing by John C. Bogle. Own the market, minimize costs, ignore the noise, and stay invested. Here's one simple thing you can do today. Check the expense ratio of your current investments. If you're paying high fees, ask what value you're actually getting in return. Every percentage point matters over a lifetime. If this changed how you think about investing, feel free to like the video and subscribe for more financial education. Let me know in the comments which lesson hit hardest for you. And if you want to go deeper, I've got a full video on index funds on screen now, along with another video you might find useful. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.